Listen, let me get to this last topic before we get up out of here. These topics, they flow, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking for a little bit over an hour.
I'm like, what time is it? Like, I was having a good time.
How do you personally recognize signs of depression in yourself and in others? And what strategies have you found most effective to battling it?
It's deep.
That's very deep.
That's very deep.
I can. Damn, you got my nerves.
Well, my background,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
my
Like,
background
yeah,
is
you
marriage
usually
and
do.
family therapy. So,
It's nice.
for depression for myself is when I do not enjoy the things that I used to, and that's basically a key in having depression is that you're not enjoying the activities that you once were, energy levels, appetite intake.
Right.
So those are some of the things that you can tell for just a general person, and isolation. But for me, it's mainly when is isolation because I just want to watch TV, Netflix, and chill like all the time. And
Damn, I might be depressed.
and not really wanting to be expressive and share what's going on in my life. So if a person asks me what's going on, I'd be like, everything's chill. And they'd be like, no, what's like, everything good, just, going to go too much into it because that's just going to bring up emotions of sadness and resentment and all that kind of stuff that's going to bring upon the depression. So you just don't want to talk about it.
I feel like it's more important to at least try to find say you got like 5 friends, but you can only trust 2 with your feelings. I would think it would be better for you to run to them, especially get out your own comfort zone. Well, not your comfort zone because you ain't comfortable, obviously. But get out from there, go to their house, chill with them for a little bit. If you gotta take a little shot or something.
If that works for the person, but for me, this is when I want to handle and tackle things on my own. When I'm dealing with something, I don't want anybody to come into that space where I'm trying to figure it out, trying to heal, because during that state is when other things are going on, So
I completely understand with that too. So during my time with that, when I want to be alone, I'm either coloring. I feel like therapy would be a good thing. I just haven't found the one that's comfortable for me.
Okay.
But I did find the church that's comfortable for me.
That's awesome.
So, that's St. John's Paul, that's on Long Island. So I just became a member today. And so far, thank you. So far, my blessings, they've been being blessed.
Okay.
So,
that's what's up.
As for me, I am diagnosed with depression and post-traumatic stress and major depression. I deal with it every day. I don't drink or smoke, but I'm more creative. I'm an artist. I write. I find peace in nature. Like this, I don't know. I cope with it, and it's very difficult. I do see a therapist, and this is my first time speaking about it. But I do. People that know me closely know I see a therapist. I'm diagnosed with it, and it's hard for me to like deal with it. Sometimes I face reality because some people use drugs and substance. I use nothing.
Yeah,
I am sober.
Every time we out,
but I fight it, and I keep going, and I just do the things and keep myself occupied and busy. That's how I battle it, and I don't know how I do it.
You know why?
I don't know how.
Strong.
Something is going on in my mind, but I see a
And
therapist.
I appreciate you sharing that with us, man. I do want to say too, like, sometimes I know when we go get diagnosed for depression, I think we do have to be careful with these diagnoses because, they tend to try to, want to put you on this medication.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And especially when it's people that don't look like us, they're quick to just, prescribe us some type of drug and keep us reliant and feel like we have to continue taking those drugs when there's other alternatives to help.
My dad said the same thing.
Yeah.
He don't believe in that drug stuff. He said you can.
In the older generation, that's what keeps them.
They don't.
The older generation don't believe
Probably
in
told you
that.
drink some ginger ale or some shit.
Because it's a chemical
outside
imbalance,
me.
and you have to find.
I recently learned about a thing called I think it's called epigenetics, and it's basically how trauma can be passed down through generations, like within your DNA, like, you know what I mean? So, a lot of times when, Black people talk about slavery and the trauma and affects how it still affects us, and people are like, oh, slavery was 200 years ago. And the people have studied, the scientists have actually studied that that's really a thing. Like that trauma can be passed down through DNA, and which is why sometimes when, we hear a door close and we alone, we hear the door close and we look around, like, what I mean? That could be a form of how we, we dealt with trauma in the past. Like maybe that our ancestors when they heard that noise, maybe they needed to be more defensive because when they wasn't defensive, something happened to them. So we not realizing like, damn, that's why I do that shit. I'm not saying that's the case for everything, but that is a thing of how, we can pass down depression or trauma to the next generation and not even realize it.
When a child's naturally anxious. It's like,
yeah.
But you got to be anxious at 2 years old.
Yeah.
That part.
and I think this is the first time within like human history where we've been able to like identify depression and stress. Like, before we just dealt with this shit. Like, you know what I mean? There was really no resources or solutions. It was just like, nigga, get over it. That's life or whatever. Now we're in a point where, okay, maybe therapy could be a thing. Maybe I was watching a documentary where they was talking about psilocybin and mushrooms and how that helps alleviate PTSD and stuff like that with soldiers and stuff, and that could be something that scientists
promote some mushrooms. Huh?
No, I
did hear that before. Somebody did mention
there's actually laboratories that have studied psilocybin and effects on depression and stress and stuff like that. So there's we're getting more information now to help realize and tackle these types of depression and stress, because this life thing is difficult, like for everybody, like what I mean. So,
no, it's crazy. Let me shout out my best friend, Life and Styles Akira. It's just so crazy. She got a vlog, you know what I mean? She going viral and stuff. Like, follow her. Like, it's very interesting to watch. She be going through
quick plug.
She be going through depression and shit. But it's crazy because she's one of the people that you would never know it. Because when she's around, she's like the most bubbly personality in the room. Like, she just lighting up the room. And I never knew for years that she was going through depression. When she finally told me, I'm thinking back like, bro, you ain't never looked sad in your life. Like what are you talking about, bro?
The saddest ones are the biggest laughter, Robin Williams.
Because I was sad for years before, and I always had a smile on my face, and nobody knew anything that was going on at home.
That's so crazy, man. So it's like when I read the question, you said look for the signs. I'm like, damn, what signs do I look for? Like you really just gotta check in on people, like for real. Like even if they seem happy, like just make sure, like go in depth with your questions. Like it's crazy. So now like that she did tell me about it. When I call her, she'd be like, damn, it's like you knew I needed to talk to you today and shit like that. So I just want to shout out, man, and her fight.
Yeah, especially with Black men, like, you know what I mean? We don't, sometimes we don't have those same outlets, you know what I mean? Which is why it's unfortunate, but you look at the suicide rates among Black men and it's some of the highest in the country, and it's really unfortunate, you know what I mean? And that's why it is always good to just really I know when we ask that question, how you doing? And we always just give that, that generic good, like, you know what I mean? I think we should, we should dive a little bit deeper. Like maybe you just need to get some shit off your chest for a second. Like, you know what I'm saying? Flash, what's your thoughts on this, man?
As far as my personal depression, I actually don't know, because I am one of those people whose life is kind of, it just happened different. You know what I'm saying? Like I was a young kid that started drawing at 10 years old, and luckily, through the grace of God, I was able to start my career while I was in college at 18, 19 years old, and I was able to achieve a lot of successful things in that tenure from 19 to, I'm 26 right now, so I haven't had a lot of crazy life struggles. I don't have no crazy parental thing. Like both my parents is at home, married, fine, and I have a strong family. But I don't know what my own depression symptoms look like because I haven't really been through much things in my life to cause that. But I do notice that when I have art block, I feel like that might be one of my signs of depression, because I feel like unmotivated. I don't know what to draw. I just don't want to do anything but just sit in my room and sit in silence. So I feel like that's a short form of depression that I just never looked at as depression, because I figured like I just can't think.
Sometimes it's hard to not be able to see your depression. It is, because it also depends on what situation you're going through.
Yeah, and I like to go through situations by just like isolation and just kind of like being by myself with my thoughts and with God. And I've been on my spiritual journey for a few years now, but more recently, like in the last 2 to 3 years, I've been studying the Bible back to back to back. So when I need a good verse or a scripture or whatever, I just go to the Bible and kind of, you feel me, get myself in check. Yeah.
Somebody, my rep just ordered it for me.
So you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's my go-to answer, because if you read between the lines, the Bible got an answer for everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's my kind of solution for it, to answer the question in its entirety. But all in all, if I'm to be honest, I actually don't know like what I'm depressed about, or if I have depression, or what stage or level I'm at. I couldn't tell you.
One minute you could be depressed, and then out of nowhere
you just lit everything back to normal. Yeah,
again, I feel like situation who you have around you sometimes.
Yeah. You been to therapy though?
No, actually.
Oh, maybe.
And you know,
maybe.
But
it's
he
crazy.
wouldn't really feel the need to go to therapy because he hasn't.
Yeah.
Like he has been stressed.
just
But I
the
mean,
art
if you
block.
describe that to somebody who's professionally trained to, you know what I mean?
They might
look at they might,
it for
yeah,
me,
they might be
but-
able to digest it.
And the craziest thing is that you say therapy too is
Yeah.
that, you know, a lot of people come to me for that therapeutic kind of response that they
I can
need.
see
Like
that.
I've cured so many
Right.
people's depression and they without me even knowing. And it's just me being a good person and having good morals and
Positive
advice
energy.
and positive
You
energy.
might
And
need
Right,
therapy
but at the
too, because that's a
same-
lot of people's
right.
energies on you. That's a
and
lot.
someone told me one time, like he was like one of my old friends, who was a rapper. He literally was about to quit because he had a pop-up shop. No one came. He was dropping an album. No one streamed it. It was just like a flop, essentially.
Yeah.
And he was crying. That was the first time this nigga is the most gangster nigga I ever met.
Yeah.
And he started crying. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? So we started talking and he was just laying it all out to me. And I feel like that was my time to tell him, like, no, stop. You're thinking in the wrong direction because of what's happening. You're not
And you're trying to compare yourself.
Yeah,
to
you're trying to
everybody
compare
else.
yourself what's happening around you. You got to understand what you dealt with. The cards you dealt with is what God gave you to play. Now you got to just shuffle your hand a little bit, play the right cards, and everything will fall in line. And I put it in perspective for him, you know, through our long talk. And I was like, you know what? Come with me tomorrow. We went to Rolling Loud. The first time the Rolling Loud came to New York, I brought him because I got invited backstage and stuff like that. And when we got back there, he saw that everyone that was behind the scenes and considered the lit artists and shit like that, it's the same niggas we know and hanging with that been in these same parties we've been in. And it opened his mind, be like, and even other rappers that was on a higher level, like for example, we went up to Duke Deuce, and he knew both of us.
Yeah.
I'm like, this nigga's from Memphis. How the fuck he know about me and
Yeah.
him?
Yeah.
But because he seen my artwork through all these artists that I work with, and then me promoting his music, it kind of like led to that. So when these type of caliber of artists is knowing us and in these type of spaces and everybody showing us love, it gave him that perspective, like, yo, I could do this. I could make this. And then now he made that right after that situation, he made a song with my brother Flip De Niro. Shout out Flip. Shit did 10 million streams and still streaming, going crazy. And now he's touring with Roy Woods. He's going crazy. So it's all about a matter of perspective. And I feel like that's what therapists do. They show you a perspective of what your life is and what it could be from where you are to what you need to do. And I feel like once you give people that type of perspective and change their outlook, it'll give them a sense of purpose now, a drive or something to really fix what they was feeling. And now you cured somebody's depression just by doing that.
A door was closed and you opened a window.
Because like they say, one door closed, another one go open. So it's like you can't never be mad at that door that closed, even if you really want to go through that door. Because you never know. That same new door might take you to that door on the other side. Doors have many different rooms.
One thing to say is A-okay to give advice, but if you know you cannot give it,
facts.
Please don't give it.
Yeah.
Understand? Do not give the advice that you cannot do for yourself, because it makes no sense to give the other person advice and you're not following your own advice.
That's fair.
You gotta practice what you preach.
Right.
Yeah,
Especially,
definitely.
you know, and don't women, please don't go to other single women. If you got a man and ask him about relationships,
Go to the married people.
please.
Yeah.
Girl, leave that fuck
Because
that nigga.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I got a real friend. Shout out to my girl Erica. I got a real friend. She would tell you, girl, do not call my phone and ask me about no relationship. Because, girl, I'm single. If you know, hit her up, Erica Smith.
I just put all y'all friends on.
Now she a good woman, so I'm gonna put her
respectfully
on.
though, respect.
You know what I'm saying? She good. So
Yo, I appreciate this conversation, man. Again, let them know where they can follow you at before we get up out of here.